Hey everybody, it's Kim Hawk with her dream team on the Near Disney YouTube channel.
Hey everyone.
And we have something called Wine Down Wednesday. Everybody, are we ready?
Oh yeah.
It's clink.
Clink.
Cheers.
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 And what I'm doing is I'm bringing the best group of experts that know what's going on in the real estate industry. This is the week of January 4th. We're starting a new year. How was everybody's New Year's?
Fantastic. It's going to be a great year.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great year.
Yeah. Off to a great start. I have taken one of my New Year's presents with me onto the show. I got this nice bottle of wine here, but I wanted to share this accessory to the wine bottle for Wine Down Wednesday.
That's cute.
Nice little
adorable
for the wine. So it's gonna.
I love that. I love that. Well, I've already. I see seven. Oh, we've got 10 people online right now. So if you guys would post where you are watching from, also let us know if you have any specific questions. I'm sure a lot of people are saying, what is going on with this crazy market? We're going into 2023. And like I said, I've got my experts here. I'm going to ask, let's go ahead and jump in. But once again, like I said, if you can go ahead and post your comments here, we're going to try to see if we can see your questions and answer them. But let's start here with, and I've got nicknames for my incredible team. So Virginia, we call her Cinderella.
Hey, everyone.
And I know you've got something cool that you want to talk about as well, right?
Yeah, well, this is our first show of the new year, so I thought I would focus on some predictions for 2023.
Yeah.
And I think number one prediction for the year is the power of the selling property is moving from the seller to the buyer. There's still very much a steady demand for domestic buyers relocating to Central Florida, but the power is moving definitely from the seller to the buyer because as interest rates, go up and the buyers get used to them, they're going to let the sellers know their tolerance for prices and terms. And also buyers are going to take a little more time to hone in on their wants and needs. There's less sense of urgency like there was this time last year. And buyers felt pressured, and now they have an opportunity to be a little bit picky, I think, with what they're choosing. The second prediction I have for the year is that demand will continue to exceed our supply here in Central Florida. It's exceeding the supply for existing inventory and the pace of new construction, and it's difficult to maintain that kind of speed and absorption. However, Central Florida is still attracting people from all over the world. So we are still confident in the market when there's a shortage of supply. And when there's a shortage of supply, the good news is that values stay supported. So that's a good thing. And then lastly, I think finally in 2023, we will see a return to seasonality in which a focus on home sales in the spring and summer where people are, more inclined to move, I think. But overall, the forecast seems to indicate strength and stability in our market. So it's going to be a good year. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Very good. Very good report. Mm-hmm. So everybody, this is Cinderella. Virginia, you've got her telephone number right here. So Cinderella, I know that you work many parts of that 25-mile radius around Cinderella's castle, but talk to me about maybe one of your favorite spots that you like to promote for people to be watching our YouTube channel, which is the Near Disney YouTube channel, and seeing videos. What are you most excited about? What area right now?
Yeah, so I really love the Dr. Phillips area. I just think there's a lot to offer for anyone, families, single people, older people, younger people. There's an excellent restaurant scene. There's a lot of culture. There's golfing. The housing is, you can have a great starter single family and all the way up to, a $3 million mansion. There's just a lot of diversity in the area. And I think it's an exciting place to live. You're close to all the parks. It's just a great central location for Central Florida if you're looking to be in the Orlando area. It's terrific.
Very good. Mm-hmm. I've got new buttons here today. Oh, nice report. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's going again. It won't even stop. There we go.
I'm sitting a rate review.
Yeah. All right, let's check out Elijah. So Elijah is known as our prince of real estate. Many times he truly is the king of real estate because he is a team captain here and does very well. And so I know, Elijah, you wanted to talk a little bit about something else tonight, correct?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to compound on what Virginia was saying. It's like there is a little bit of transfer of power, but it's still kind of there's things that come into the market that sort of balance it out a little bit. We talk a lot about how we can help buyers out, and we love to do that as well. But we also can try to. I'd like to maybe advise a little bit how sellers want to have a mindset with navigating how best to sell their house, or whether it's the right time to sell in 2023 as the year. With this chart that we just pulled up here is kind of giving you an idea of the interest rates, and why something that Virginia was talking about is that there's a little bit more hesitancy to buy. It's not that blazing fiery hot sellers market on account of these interest rates climbing up, I think, as the Fed's attempt to fight inflation. However, the other thing that she mentioned being that with the extremely low inventory, that is what I would say helps it be a right time to sell, because you can utilize and take advantage of that lack of supply and the demand of people wanting to come to Florida, especially like it's already turned 80 degrees again after Christmas, had a little bit of a chill. So I'm taking that weather for granted already, but I can kind of forget, like where I'm from in Nebraska, it stays cold even and until like April sometimes. And this continues to be an attractive place to want to move to. And we have seen that the article that I pulled up that I'm looking at, Orlando housing inventory had fewer than 5,000 homes available the week before Christmas, which is approximately half of the normal amount. And so, and even in the town where I work out of with my office, as my home base, Celebration hasn't had a new listing of any kind, condo, townhouse, single family estate in almost 2 weeks. So if you want to consider when a moment would be to pounce, the early start of the year could be a good moment there. And then when it comes to those concessions, we are seeing that the demand is high, but we are also seeing that a lot of people are afraid of these interest rates. So whether or not they're going to pounce, so that maybe they don't want to give up the 3% interest rate that they already pay if they're looking to lifestyle change and move to something like we saw on the chart that can kind of peak out at like 7%, or maybe the other people aren't deciding whether they want to rent. You can, like she was saying, prices are looking cool, but there may be some other concessions that we can advise, like offering some. It might be finally time to start thinking about offering a little bit of a credit to the buyer to pay down their rate a bit. Because like I think you can do up to 3% is what you're allowed, and that can really help with giving them some points off interest rates, which can help people pull the trigger. And because we're not just quite seeing that endless bidding war situation that we saw a year ago.
Very good point. Yeah.
And you can they can always buy. We can always help you refinance like later with lenders that we recommend. Lots of good lenders with good programs and strategies that refinancing in the future when things kind of cool down.
Yeah. You know what? We found that one of our lenders is Disney Federal Credit Union, the Partners Credit Union. And they said that truly most people don't keep their homes longer than 5 years, 9 months. And so we know that they have a really good program out there that's a 7-1 ARM. And that 7-1 ARM means that they're lowering that interest rate for a period of 7 years. There's different buy down opportunities that are going on now. Sometimes people are saying, oh, I'll do a 2-1 where I'm going to bring that interest rate down for the first year to 2 points, and then 1 point that second year. And I'm like, wait a minute, look at maybe a 7-year where they've dropped it, because chances are very good you may resell your house, or like what Elijah just said, or Prince of Real Estate just said, is that you may want to redo your interest rate. And it's so crazy to hear too when people are, I'm talking like 5% interest rate now. I'm looking at stuff with some people that's 4.75% interest rate. And we're just not going to see the days anymore of the 2.75, I don't think, and the 3%. But it's not that big of a difference.
Right.
But the nice thing is too, like we said, you're not having to compete, go in with these buyers, with these sellers and say, oh, I'm going to offer you $100,000 more than what you even asked, because everybody's lost their mind and has walked away from contingencies and are paying you more. Right. So when you work with my Realtor Dream Team, they're going to help bring the focus back in, because honestly, we know that when you buy or sell a house, it's probably one of the largest transactions you're going to do in your life. Mm-hmm. So why not work with a group of people that work with this every day, especially when you're a buyer, because it's the seller's agent that is paying the commission out of their commission. So you can either have somebody in your, backing you up and double checking everything, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, to make sure that we're putting you in the best position that we can, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear too, because Miranda, what she wants to talk, and we have a nickname for her too. She's our Alice in Wonderland, and she's going to go down the rabbit hole of how to prepare yourself, right, in order to best buy a house.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have any, super fancy graphics or anything, but when it comes to purchasing a home, and even after you are under contract for a home that you've picked out, that you're ready to purchase, you're getting things ready to go, there's a lot of things that you want to adhere to before and during that process. And I think a lot of people tend to kind of jump the gun there a little bit. They get really, really excited. So kind of like what Virginia touched on, it's a new year, new beginnings, new year, new you, new me, new furniture, new house. So it's really, really, really easy to get excited about all those things. So I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about what it takes to get you to that buyer status and keep that same buyer status. So if you will, we've got about 10 different commandments, so to speak, that we try to adhere to. So whether you're just starting out looking for your next home or you're already under contract, both of these things, or all these things, should apply to you. But first and foremost, please do not change your jobs, please, or become self-employed. I know, like I said, new year, new me, new adventures. You get all these epiphanies to, want to go ahead and start hitting the road running, and that's great. But if you can kind of hang tight until all these transactions close and then do all these things, it's going to be great. And don't quit your job. It's very tempting. Even transitioning a job, especially if you're already working with a lender that you know and trust within the transaction or beforehand, and you've built up that relationship with them, ask them what that would look like if you were potentially thinking about transitioning to another job. If it's within the same company, if it's within the same field, if it's for better pay, they're going to want to know all of those things as a factor before they can kind of give you the green light on those things. We also ask, number 2, please do not go out and buy a brand new car, or any car for that matter. So whenever you are looking at what Kim said, this could be your biggest, and probably is your single most highest priced ticketed item that you're ever going to finance in your home if you're looking at lending. So a car in relativity to a home is going to be a significant difference. The problem with going out and financing another car, I'll just say another car, I won't say a new car. It might be a used car, it might be a new to you car, but financing any car while you're looking at purchasing your home can greatly decrease your chances for what we call a DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. And that's all going to be factored into your lender's ability to lend you the money comfortably and not stretch your budget so thin. So to make sure that you stay within that level of comfortability, they want to make sure that you can purchase as much house as possible and not be poor in other aspects. So if you can hold off on the car, please do so after the home's purchased. If you have any charge cards, credit cards, ladies, this goes for those store credit cards too. I'm guilty of that. Don't start charging up things excessively. I know, especially with the holiday season coming off of that, I, we're really kind of looking towards like paying those cards off. And it's really easy to fall into a habit of saying, yeah, I'll run them up and I'll pay them off later. Or, it's just a store card and I'm saving so much money initially on it. All of those things, again, go back into that debt to income ratio. Even if you think it's very significant, it could come back to bite you. So make sure that you're keeping your credit cards or store cards in check, that not only you're not running up those balances. And then I'm going to kind of pull that into number 4 is make sure that you're not using the money that you've set aside for the down payments for your homes, or helping finance that cost, whether that be inspection costs, surveys, any kind of money that you plan on using to bring to the closing table to purchase this home. Don't use that money to pay on these cards or pay off your house, unless you've had a conversation with your lender once you get into that process and start either paperwork for being under contract or beforehand, and they have approved all that. So if they tell you something differently, then that's totally a green light. But we want to make sure that this all passes through the lenders that you're working with first. Additionally, it's extremely important to be as upfront and honest as possible with not only your agent, us as realtors, but also those lenders. I know it's very tempting to say, oh, yeah, my wife's got this or my husband's got that kind of debt, but that's not mine. But if you're looking at cohabitating and you're wanting to try and maximize your purchase price on the house, the best thing you can do is not leave out any kind of debts, student loans. I know it was really tempting to take PPP loans, especially if you're self-employed out during the pandemic. So if any of those things are something that you needed to repay, please make sure that your lenders know about them, especially if you're financing at this point in time. Another big thing, number 6 on my list, is don't go out and buy any furniture. And don't go out and buy any furniture and finance it. I know it's going to sound so insignificant whenever they're like, oh, you're going to split this up over 6 years. But again, just like with the car, furniture can get expensive. And we've seen time and time over, there have been plenty of customers that we've dealt with that have said, oh, I'm so excited about this new house. I just went out and had to go and buy a brand new living room suite. And it could, in turn, frustrate their lender and potentially cost them the sale on the home. So please don't do that if at all possible. There's a couple other things. This is where we're kind of going to get into the nitty gritty here on this list. So number 7, these are things that aren't maybe as prevalent as top of mind, I guess I should say. So don't be going and doing any kinds of new inquiries into your credit. So again, if you're tempted to take out a brand new store card and your thought process behind it is, oh, but that's a new credit card that would give me more room on that debt to income ratio. Please don't do that, especially without talking to the lender first. Now, there might be certain situations where you're building credit or you need more credit availability. Those are conversations that the lenders will have with you first. And they've got some great recommendations for either secured cards or lending companies that they tend to go to quickly, and that can help raise those scores a little bit quicker. But please don't go out and try to raise that that debt to income ratio on your own. You definitely want to have as much guidance in that as possible. Another one that I hear all the time that people are like, really? I didn't know that. So number 8 on my list is don't make any huge deposits to your account. And I'm also going to kind of flip that. Don't take a large amount of money, cash, out of your accounts that you intend to use to buy these homes. A lot of times people think, oh, I just gave my granddaughter $200 for Christmas and I gave it to her all in cash, or I bought gift cards with it, something of that. All your lender needs an entire picture for you to be able to purchase these homes. So that's going to go into a separate process once you're under contract on a home and you're getting ready to get all the paperwork settled, called underwriting. And with underwriting, they've got people that are going over your bank accounts with a fine tooth comb. So the more of a paper trail that you have, the better. We can't account for cash in big amounts, even if it's just $100 or $500. So if you are dealing on a cash basis, before you put those into your bank accounts, please let the lenders know. Or if you're gifted any money, let your lender know that you're anticipating that before you actually receive it or put it into your account, or take it out as well. Like I said, I want to flip flop that as well. So number 9, don't change bank accounts. I know that's tempting too, because again, first of the year, we start seeing a lot of those, I'll call them junk mail, but like postcards, flyers in the mail from all these different banking options that are offering, cash for opening cards or opening new accounts, or switching banks over if you'll hold a separate amount of money in it. So that's not ideal to do when you're thinking about purchasing the house, whether it's before or during the transaction. And then last but not least here, please don't co-sign on a loan for anyone. They could be your best friend. They could be your neighbor. They could be your spouse. Even they could be your kids. So if you're in those situations, again, talk to your lender before you do any of those things, but it's extremely important that you try your best to stay away from all of those, so that way you can have as smooth of a transaction as possible when you go to purchase that home.
Ah, awesome. Let me give you
I threw a lot at you, but it's all true. And I've had deals fall through for furniture and cars before, and cash taken out of their account. So yeah, they're large hurdles.
So good, guys. You've given us such rich, meaty information tonight. I think the only thing I might want to add at the end of this is that we did a report, and when you look at the course of the last 25 years, homes have appreciated typically 3.8% per year. That's pretty good. Now, remember what we talked about in last week's show. I think I referenced OPN, other people's nails, acrylic nails.
Mm-hmm.
When you're buying a house, you're using other people's money, OPM, right? And so if you're buying $500,000 worth of property and you're really only asked to bring maybe $25,000 to the table, but that property is $500,000 and it's appreciating at 3.8% per year, you're using other people's money to leverage financial freedom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's huge.
Huge. And so what we're seeing is, I don't look at the market as depreciating or appreciating. I'm seeing a deceleration. So what my view is for 2023 is, I don't think, because the inventory is so low, I think we're hearing some people saying, oh, well, by the end of the year, the prices are going to fall so much. Nope, I don't see that. I don't see that.
Fortunately, we've got some people really holding out for that.
Yeah, and it's not the right time to do that. Now is the time to buy. Yeah. Now is the time to find a property, talk to my realtor dream team. Now, the thing that you might be still trying to get through, your head around, is that you think interest rates, as Elijah has said, it's gone up, but you talk to them about going to the sellers and saying, we want them to give 3% towards buying down your interest rate. And stop the bleeding in regard to how high the prices of the houses are going. Because I think they're still going to go up next year, at least 3.8%. People are still going to keep increasing the prices of their house, right? But what we're seeing now is a little bit more of a controlled market for our buyers, because last year our team was out there and we had buyers saying, I want that house. I want that house. That interest rate's so low. I'm willing to pay $50,000 more than list. I'm willing to pay $100,000 more than list.
And take all this deferred maintenance.
Yeah. So that's not happening now. We're finding that houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer, but I still wouldn't say that houses are sitting on the market for longer than 90 days. It's just a crazy time we had last year where something was on the market for a day, 2 days. And now, as sellers, if you're out there and if you're thinking, gosh, my house has been on the market for 21 days, and why don't I have a contract? Well, because back in the old days, in celebration, it would be a month per $100,000 that you had your house listed. So if you had a $500,000 house, I would prepare people that your house may be on the market for 5 months. That was just normal standard stuff. So we have lots of great data information. We want to help you guys. And you've got the dream team that's right here.
Well, and I think you touched on something too, Kim. It starts with making sure that the right expectations with the agent that you're working with is set from the very get-go. We're never going to promise you all the sun, the moon, the stars if we can't make that happen. We're going to have very real, honest conversations, not only about your house, but the expectations of the market. And that could be an ever-evolving conversation. So as long as you're open to that and willing to take our best recommendations, we're still in a shifting market. We don't know what that's going to look like 6 months from now, realistically.
Yeah.
So you'll have to continue to take our guidance and follow the data as it comes available to us.
That's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Believe me, we are, this dream team, we want to have you as a client for the rest of our lives. Our clients are our friends. And we want, when you get to the point, maybe within that 5-year, 9-month mark, and you say, okay, it's time to sell the house, we want you going back to our team. And we want to be able to look you in the eye and say, I feel confident that we can sell this house. We're doing this together as partners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
Can you think of anything we missed, you guys? I see a lot of people saying hi online, and we wanted to say hi to Karen Siggy. We wanted to say hello to Daniela. Yep, we're waving with our wine. Hopefully everybody's having a nice glass of wine with us. Marianne Forbes, and so lots of good people on there. You've got the telephone numbers of my dream team if you have any questions. Otherwise, on Fridays at 1:30, we do have a show where we're talking about the neighborhoods that are around the 25-mile radius of Cinderella's Castle. But if you want to get a hold of my team, ask some really good real estate questions. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we know a lot of you will be watching throughout the week, as you did last week. But we're here for you.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Look for our videos online and reach out anytime, not just,
Kim, what area do we have coming up this week?
Oh, I'm very excited. So we're going to be talking about how Walt Disney's legacy connects Liberty Square and downtown Orlando.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a fun series.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, everybody enjoy your week. And please make sure you subscribe and like to the Near Disney YouTube channel.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.